It is a website that combines video games and learning. We think it can make more games to motivate students to read. Next, strategies for problem 2, the loss of learning.
To cope with this learning loss, we have combined both online and offline learning together, or as we call it, blended learning. As such, between students and learning easier to do.
Shifting. What is shifting? Portal UNESCO, it is when schools cater for two entirely separate groups of people. The first group attend from early morning until midday, and the second group attend from midday to late afternoon, which will be easier for students to attend classes.
In addition, we can invite university volunteers to accompany the disadvantaged students to learn. One example is the streamer bus, which is a formed by students from National Zhenzi University. They design interactive games to help students learn better. During a pandemic, they still offer their help online.
We can give students more freedom to select their own courses. Many disadvantaged students lack the motivation to learn. If the middle schools can adopt multiple elective courses policy, such as band, orchestra, foreign language, home economics, art, and computer programming, then they will have more motivation to learn. Another strategy is to develop apps for teachers to monitor students' progress and to monitor their working process. We found two apps allow teachers view students' workstation progress.
We can also make study apps. One example is YPT. It is a Korean app that allows you to visualize your study time and keep you away from your phone. You can also join study groups and compare your progress with others. It's offers breaking to motivate you. Last but not least, strategies for problem 3 in practical curriculum.
Is a problem, the impractical of curriculum. Our strategy is holding short course which is called digital camp. This plan has already been conducted in our school. Camp is to increase our technology skills, which is needed to answer the future challenges. Apps that includes Canva for presentation, GarageBand for creating music, and many other apps that will help students complete their assignment.
Shijia also has an example. It is called Excellent Learner. In this course, students learn skills to collaborate with team members, draw out key points in articles, take notes in class, find and use learning resources. These are all lifelong learning skills for us to live better in post-pandemic world.
In order to make our action plans run well, these are our collaboration from parents facilitating device for online school, from our school, Al-Azhar is providing facilities such as Wi-Fi at school, electricity, thermogun, hand sanitizer, and other facilities at school. They're funding students and who can afford the gadget to attend online school and made the blended learning program.
In Taiwan, we also need collaboration from computer programmers, university students, and education bureau.
Based on our survey, most of the students agree and support our action plans. This is shown by the pie chart in the slide.
We also made a survey in Shijia Junior High School. Overall, support our strategies.
In conclusion, our strategies are supported by most of the students. A bigger chance of achieving SDGs and increasing educational achievement during post-pandemic era. That's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Let's answer. Let's answer the new EBS one. Pak Mute dulu, Pak.
Who likes with
那个印尼他们会先回答，印尼他们会先回答，回答完才会。
那个我可以先办。
可以回答这个，因为我刚刚找到一个问题。你的问题吗？那你就好好回答喽。你刚只要有时间再回答我。费时间，再讨论一下。那等一下，他们印尼会先回答，回答完之后会邀请你们回答。先回答。对啊，等一下印尼他们会先。不是我说我这里有先。这边谁要先回答？谁先回答？那就如果是我觉得我也不是很有问到事实的问题，就事实先回答。你读我。我加油。那结果。
Thank you for the question. I'm going to answer the question from 7B4 New India School. Don't you feel that giving a tablet to every student might lead to distraction during school hours? Okay, so our school are restricting apps that could distract students during school hours. For example, like games, social medias, and others. Also, our iPad has a management that, multiple device management, so school can monitor our iPad. We're going to invite Shijia to answer the question.
Hello, I'm Thomas from Shida Junior High School. I'd like to answer the question. Tell us more about the Shima Bus. First of all, thank you for the question. The Shima Bus allows children to face failures and stress and learn teamwork through the games. They sometimes invite some interesting professionals to share and perform with the children. And then the children will learn some skills from them. They also guide children in career planning by visiting coffee shops or TV stations, such like that.
I'm going to answer a question from 7B7 Fuchang Senior High School. What about rural schools? Our government is currently working for rural school to give an iPad to them. So yeah, your question.
Hello, I'm Diana from Sija Junior High School. I'd like to answer the question. Please explain more about monitor apps. First of all, I'll thanks to the question. What I meant for monitor app is that teachers can know what the students are doing during online classes. It can keep them from getting distracted by all kind of devices. But the students also need to have self-learning ability to control themselves.
I'd like to answer the question. Good question, but I'd like to answer the question from 7B4 New India School. In the process of blended learning, will the school staff be overloaded with the workload? It wouldn't be overloaded by the workload. It is because it is split by half. 15 people from online and other 15 from the school. As they all school will be having their meeting with the ones online in the same class. Being so, one teacher can teach in one class and also teach the ones from offline and also the one from online.
That's all for our answering. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the questions.
Yes,
Yes, we
那么
are.
碰姐，那我们可以开始了吗？还是
Okay, thank you. Good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shindy. We are Houjin Junior High School students from Kaohsiung, Taiwan. Our teachers are Mr. Yi and Mrs. Yang. The members of this team are Ernie, Michael, Jacob, Josh, Bonnie, and me. Today, we will tell you about the impact of COVID on the aviation industry and how we recommend ways to deal with it. This slide talks about the two mandatory major areas. Airline industry hard hit by COVID. What kind of attitude should we maintain? This slide talks about the two major areas of impact of COVID. Empty airports. Nobody is traveling. Why? Because people are afraid to travel in government restrictions, flight cancellations, fewer numbers of flights from Kaohsiung. Before COVID, maybe 200 of flights in one day, but now there are only 4. There are 4 major areas of impact. First, flight attendant. Second, maintenance engineers. Third, sky chef and food servers. Fourth, cleaning staff.
First of all, in the post-pandemic era, the number of flights still has not returned to the previous level. The workload of flight attendants has been reduced, so the salary has also reduced. In addition, it takes several days of isolation after each flight, and they can't see their beloved family. Plus, because they travel to and from different countries, they bear a high risk of contracting the disease. In the post-pandemic era, because flights have not recovered to the level before the outbreak, so we recommend that flight attendants can use this time to carry out relevant vocational training, including first aid training, safety training, and customer service training. While training, in order to increase the income of flight attendants can become YouTubers or through Facebook or Instagram. Sure, the flight attendant training process and their flying experience. As ordinary people, we can subscribe, leave messages, and like the channels opened by flight attendants to increase income of these flight attendants.
Reduces maintenance activities. Fewer flights, so there are fewer airplanes to fix. However, they can't make more money than before. They also have higher risk of infection because they're at the airport for a long time. We have proposed a solution to this problem. Open online courses to impart knowledge related to aircraft maintenance. This method can not only help those who want to work in this industry understand the job content, but also allow aircraft maintenance engineers to earn money to make up for the solution to reduction due to the epidemic. Finally, due to the outbreak of the epidemic, the number of passengers flying by air has greatly decreased. As a result, the salaries of many people have been drastically reduced. The most serious of this is empty sky kitchen, because no one is flying therefore. No one is eating on the plane, so they have a lot less work, and their salary automatically reduced.
We can place vending machines in places with high traffic, such as department stores, night market, or supermarket, so that ordinary consumers can enjoy food without line. Therefore, the most important thing is to launch an airplane meal fund. This method can bring extra income for cooks.
Finally, in the post-pandemic era, the workload and working hours of cleaning staff has increased due to the need to prevent pandemic work.
Including more cleaning work. It takes more time to wear epidemic prevention equipment when cleaning. In addition to cleaning, this disinfection is required to completely eliminate the virus, so it takes more time.
In addition, cleaning staff also need to dispose of passenger waste, such as the toilet paper used by passengers to wipe their nose and mouth, so they bear a high risk of infection.
It's our first year. We are just in observing.
Why do you choose this topic?
Our second question, why did you choose this topic? Because we are interested in this topic.
This topic is
Each answer is COVID is largely the aviation industry.
Because COVID has a large impact on the aviation industry.
Take it.
thank you to our presenter.
Thank you for looking our presentation.
Answer.
For the empty airport, how about business flight? Maybe it can bring some effort for Taiwan, right? Business flights are
Không á, tranh thủ chụp một vài cái ảnh nhé. Chụp lại. Đây rồi. Không sao, cứ để yên đi.
To end poverty, and all countries developed and developing must be in the
Khi mà bạn tổ chức thông báo thì con xem màn hình như thế các bạn. Ok, cảm ơn. Ok, rồi nha. Có số thôi. Và sẽ xong đây nha. 아, 뼈 장하죠.
Okay.
Can you see the slides share?
3, 2, 1, action. The breakout of COVID-19 has affected all sections of society in general and education in particular. Up to now, there are more than 279 million people have been infected and more than 5 million cases have died. And those numbers continue to go rapidly. Not only that, this pandemic brings about economic crisis to people. There are many companies and factories that go bankrupt, so a lot of workers are laid off and they become unemployed. The number of unemployed people at the moment is more than 220 million people. Many people don't even have enough money to rent a house, and they have to go under bridges and roadsides to live through the day.
Part 2. What is happening in two countries? Well, in Vietnam, students have been studying online for over 6 months. In Taiwan, with the good control of the epidemic, luckily, young people returned to the campus after 3 months of online study. We made some problems, such as myopia problems. We get nearsighted easily. Some families are short of sufficient devices for young learners to use. Students get distracted on the net easily. How to help young learners study more effectively is the goal we want to achieve.
In Vietnam, this is Minh and Nhật, and because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they have to study online, and the only device they get to study is their dad's old phone, and because of that, every 30 minutes, one has to get out of the class and give the phone to the other. But why don't they get a new device? It's because their dad is a poor taxi driver who lost his job because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, he can't afford to buy a new device for his children to study. But they aren't the only ones in Vietnam who suffer from this situation. Because according to the Ministry of Education and Training, Vietnam, up to September 12, 2021, there are about 7.35 million students studying online and about 1.5 million with no devices. I am a student at 100-star school. I'm neither rich nor poor, lucky me to have enough devices to study. And so that's why me and my friends feel very sorry for the ones with no devices, and we're working on the things to help them improve their situation, and these will be further demonstrated by my friends.
Part 3. What is our action plan? Hanoi Star and Jiaxing both create fan page on Facebook called EACP Hanoi Star and EACP Jiaxing to provide some learning tips and methods. EACP stands for Education After the COVID-19 Pandemic. We focus on what we can do at school to help young learners to study well, both online and offline.
We understand the difficulties students are facing in Vietnam and Taiwan, and that's why we choose to run Facebook fan pages, as Facebook hands down the largest social media site worldwide, with nearly 2.9 billion monthly active users. And it is popular for youngsters, so it is fast and convenient to access and share information on this platform.
So what does our fan page aim at? More specific, we divide it into two parts, long and short terms. In the short terms, we're here to help the community have a clearer view of the impact of COVID-19 on students. To ensure the quality of online learning, we also provide learning tips and methods to help students to learn more effectively. For example, we have introduced followers to some learning apps like Quizlet, Xmind, or some good learning methods like Pomodoro. ACP is a place for all students to share difficulties and help each other in their studies.
In the long run, we'll try to develop and increase the popularity of our page. Once we get the popularity, we're thinking of fundraising to buy learning devices for needy people. We're here to make learning easier.
On our fan page, we interview high achievers to share their learning methods. Number 1, taking notes is the best way for you to go home to review. Copy up the contents of the teacher's class and then go home to review. Number 2, focusing on the textbook can help you find a main point and review it conveniently. Number 3, helping classmates not only help others on study, but he can also deepen his learning by the way. Number 4, getting extra readings such as novel, newspaper, or magazines can increase knowledge and help strengthen language skills. Number 5, we also introduce some online learnings, watching English videos, reading novels and magazines. or even talking to foreigners online. Learning websites such as Junyi, Core English, Kahoot, and Learning Mode. They use apps like Quizlet and Quizit. Number 6, we also invite teachers to share their online teaching experience. Our English teacher use technology devices in classes and help students learn better.
How are we doing with our pages? In Vietnam, we both started from zero, and up to now, our pages have had hundreds of followers. It's our first time running a fan page. Honestly, we met many difficulties at first, but gradually things got better. We have reached people of different ages from different countries such as Taiwan, Japan, UK, and Germany. But over 15% of them are students. Set up in November. Our page keeps developing day by day, and the interaction is on the increase. One of our posts has reached over 1,000 people. That means we have successfully spread positive messages to the world. Given the aforementioned, I'm pretty sure that we have a promising and bright future ahead.
As to our fan page in Taiwan, our fans have increased obviously, and the comments, sharing, and the emojis have also gradually increased. I think it has already helped our students, and hope it can expand all over the world in the future.
What is our future plan? In Vietnam, first of all, we will try to improve the quality of our posts in terms of design and content to grab the attention of the public. Second, as for the content of our posts, instead of posting about online learning tips and apps, posts focus on improving student health, time management, and raising funds.
So, talking about fundraising, when we are trusted enough by the followers, we will organize charity activities to raise funds. We are considering to do it in form of art exhibition, book exchange, singing event, or selling DIY stuff. The donor we are aiming at are students, parents, and the follower of our fan page. The money raised will be sent to charity organizations such as the Blue Dragon Student Foundation or Vietnam Student Association or UNICEF Vietnam to help students with learning difficulties due to the COVID-19.
In Taiwan, we also hope that our fan page can reach more people, and we can use the money that we gather to help people who are in need of our fundings. As we are art students at school, we will promote our pottery items and Chinese spring couplets to people. Then we will donate all the money to Taiwan Fund for Children's and Families Charity Organization to let everyone care for the disadvantaged children.
Although we are going through a hard time in the post-pandemic era, education is undoubtedly one of the most important issues to be followed. No matter whether we study at home or at school, we should try to support each learner with sufficient resources to use and learn for our better future.
Ensuring that no student is left behind during this pandemic.
It's not yours, not mine, but our responsibility.
SDG number 4 dalam lingkungan. Kita besok ke soalan number 4 tu dapat jawab. Jadi, ni aku tanya ni aku bisa nak. Có thời gian con trả lời thêm cái này nhé. Hai của file xin chỉ dùng để mà cái thiết bị các bạn em
Câu nào ạ? Câu này này, câu. Vâng, thế bây giờ con phải viết luôn. Con trả lời câu này trước rồi xong sang cái kia. Vâng. Có thời gian. Cái này và cái này đúng không? Mình có thời gian. Các bạn đi trả lời trước.
Let's start another question. I want to answer the question from Fusan. Question is, how to solve the problem of students' distraction in class? How to solve the problem of students' distraction in class? Our answer is, you have to let students know what they want to learn and change their perception of learning. This is the most fundamental way to solve the problem. Hope we can answer your question. Thank you for listening and question. Now, we are going to invite our partner, Hanoi Star, to answer another question.
Thank you for all your questions. Now, we will answer the question, what are the problems you had when running the Facebook page and how did you deal with them? Our answer is, we had some quite hard time at first because we had no training in running a fan page or designing posts. There were so many different ideas that we had to sit down together to discuss. We were busy with the schoolwork as well. Luckily, we learned to design our posts on Canva, which is a very useful designing website for beginners. That saves us a lot of time. Our friends and Hanoi Star community also got our back when they showed great interest in our posts and activities. Thanks to them, we got hundreds of followers now. Next question I want to answer is, you are saying that education can continue through Facebook. What about poor people who cannot afford electronic devices? Well, it's because when they are poor, they don't have any devices to learn. And so that's why we want to raise funds on Facebook to help them with their learning. It's the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
有了。这里可以拍照。三个都在了吗？真圆的。有。So we got everyone. We got everyone. Great.
Sonu, I think I need to find Sonu.
好，所以先可华，对不对？
So if it's not your goal, please turn your microphone off, okay? So you turn your microphone on until it's your goal.
Okay, I just need one more minute to call Sonu. Sonu is not here yet, right?
他们还有3次挑战。
我们也有。
你的 PPT 有准备好了吗？看一下你的 PPT 都 OK 了吗？要先分享吗？好，痔疮要先分享吗？痔疮要先分享。等一下。好。好，你先分享痔疮，先把它开在第1页。你先把它开在第1页那里。对，先把它开到对啊，你要先分享画面，先分享画面。对。PPT 在哪里？你还没有开啊。
Sonu is trying to get in. She got some problem with an accountant.
来，对。
Oh yeah, she just got it. Okay, we're all set.
不用，你有选的吗？上次是它会有线倾向，你有了吗？先分享啊。
我分享了。
没有啊。
你看，我按这个。
对，按个视窗。可是没有 PPT 出来啊。这是取消哦。对。先看一下 PPT。PPT 在这里啊。有，在这里。有。然后先弄这一个。OK。
先问一下他们吗？
So you still cannot see our PPT, sorry. I'm too nervous. Okay, so we share the screen, okay.
Good afternoon. Hunger and education when pandemic steals our lunch. The global goal for education of SDGs states everyone should have equal opportunity to enjoy education of high quality. Achieve at equal levels and enjoy equal benefits from education. This goal has tried to reduce almost all the barriers, for example, social, financial, and geographical factors. Still, an unexpected factor, the pandemic brought a new challenge for achieving this goal. Distance learning not only affects the quality of some students' learning, but also cut them off from their access of meals. A report from the United Nations shows that because of the lack of school during the epidemic, the number of people in hunger has also increased. Study also shows that having a pandemic nutritional gap because of increased food insecurity can also lead to a greater pandemic learning gap. Thus, we'd like to adopt strategies for distributing food safely to those people in need and ensure they're appropriately fed both in body and then in mind.
Because of the pandemic, lots of kids lost their lunch without going to the school due to the schools shutting down. From the chart, you can see that it doubles the number of acute hunger. The studies also show that hunger could affect the quality of education. How to deal with the situation? In America, hungry kids increased significantly during the pandemic. Therefore, the school mobilized the staff, kitchens, and the bus fleet to deliver meals to 1,000 students enrolled in home-based remote learning. In India, 14% of the population is undernourished during the pandemic. The index gives a score on a 100-point scale. With a score of 27.5, the level of hunger in India is serious. The government provided 5 kilograms of rice or wheat a month free of cost.
New Zealand changed its school vacation schedule. The vacation started 2 weeks earlier than its original schedule. During the vacation, the New Zealand government had a special session for teachers on online classes, and New Zealand started online classes right after the school vacation. In addition, New Zealand tried to provide printed learning materials to the students who can't access the internet or don't have related equipment. 2 websites were provided for schools, a website for English speakers and a website for Maorian language speakers. Although people follow social distancing in most situations, children in Denmark and other countries are often forget to do so at schools and daycare centers. So, many parents have joined a Facebook group named My Child Shouldn't Be a Guinea Pig. It is a group about parents saying that children shouldn't be tested as subjects. Another parent said that kindergartens have opened, but they do not want to send their children. Parents in Denmark are saying this because the number of COVID-19 confirmed cases have increased after school started. Due to these reasons, learning has been influenced negatively.
In terms of the examples in Taiwan, there are some ways to react to the pandemic school lunch crisis. Here are some examples in New Taipei City. A policy called the Happiness Safeguarding Station was introduced in 2013. It let kids sign their name at convenience stores or Baofeng dumpling store and get free food. This helps the kids get a meal when they're hungry, and it works perfectly under the pandemic era. As for the places that the convenience store density isn't that high, some schools will tell the kids to come to school and have lunch there. Still, some kids can't come to the school at noon, so they have to rely on some charities or organizations. Frozen food was given to those students by some charities. However, since some families don't have a refrigerator, they can get fuel rations or cans of food instead.
There might be a huge gap among students' learning competence, and in the long run, it would be really bad for the whole world. Parents, schools, and the district government need to work together to help students in need. Schools and the district government can provide the internet services or devices for online learning. If there isn't anyone to help students at home, they could visit a community center or even their school to join online learning.
In terms of the pros and cons of the approaches from Taiwan and other countries, the advantage of giving cash or meal vouchers is that the students can have more choice to buy the food they want. However, we can't be sure whether they use the money to buy healthy foods. On the other hand, frozen foods are clean and convenient, but they often contain too much oil. As for the food bank or public refrigerators, people have more freedom on choosing the food they need, but we can't ensure that if the foods are clean or fresh enough.
The alternative for some students who can't eat school meals due to COVID-19 is using an application called Pedare Minjuk, a food delivery order service in Korea. The alternative what we thought of is to provide a Pedare Minjuk discount coupon, which is only available for healthy and nutritious foods to all the students in Korea. If we put this solution into practice, there will be no nutritional deficiency of students due to not being able to eat school meals. Another alternative is to provide students certain amount of self-cooking ingredients. Most students don't have any guardians to cook for them, so instead, if we provide them simple food ingredients such as fried or cup noodles, snacks, cereal, breads, etc., they can cook with no help. These are the strategies that we thought of which can help with students' meals under the pandemic era.
Distance learning not only affects the quality of education, but also made the disadvantaged families lost their way of food. Because of the virus, we realized that the lack of education can also lead to hunger, and our well of learning and energy will also be taken away by the deep desire for food. As our results shows that hunger and education are deeply connected. We have to help solve this problem, or else it'll be a dead end.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for your question. The question I'm going to answer now is, can the other factors that affect the quality of education also lead to hunger? My answer is yes, some of them can. For example, social factors may lead to bullying, and the bullies may stop them from having food. Financial factors would cause hunger because they might not have enough money to pay the food which the school offers. Now, we'll invite our sister school, Junwon Girls Junior High School, to answer more questions.
A question which I'm going to answer is there any possibilities that online lessons would be a main class in the future? Yes, if the government of each country fully supports children who don't have enough internet devices, online classes are likely to be a main class in the future. Thank you for asking this question.
And the question we want to answer is, which example of solving school lunch issue during the pandemic do you think is the most effective way? Why? And the answer is, we think that giving cash or meal vouchers is the most effective way to solve the issue. During pandemic, meals from the food bank and public refrigerators have serious concerns about whether if the meals are without virus or not. Giving meals would cost more on delivering and unable to make sure the students like the given meals. Frozen foods require microwave oven or heater that some poor families couldn't own. Therefore, giving cash or meal vouchers should be a way that students have more freedom for choosing meals and the lowest cost for the government on delivering and meal making.
And now we'll invite our sister school again, Junwon Girls Middle School, to answer more questions.
Um, I wanted to introduce this topic because COVID-19 has been a major issue for several years, and we wanted to know and share the COVID-19 situation in other countries. Thank you.
The question I wanted to answer is the policy of happiness safeguard station has combat cases before, like children ate free meals by cheating store clerks. Do you think that it is a good policy for the whole nation? And my answer is, although the policy has some negative places, but this policy gives the poor students a meal. It also corrects students' eating habits because junk food is not on the support list. It means students can only buy the food they need, not the ones they want. In total, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So I think it is a good policy for the nation.
Now, again, let's welcome our sister school to answer questions. I'm sorry, this is our report. Thank you for listening.
In 2019, the world was hit with a new strain of coronavirus, a powerful disease that can harm both animals and humans worldwide. In the fight against coronavirus, it has exhausted many nations' resources and left adverse impacts on the economy and life all over the world. That's when the nations must join hands
Good afternoon,
and make
everyone.
collaborative
We are Yunchao
efforts in
School
the
and
fight
everyone
against
school.
COVID-19.
Today,
In
we are
April
going to present
2020,
actions
Taiwan
for a
helped Lithuania
post-pandemic
fight
world.
COVID-19 with the
We have
donation
5
of
parts in our talk.
100,000
For our
masks.
definition,
After that,
facts,
in
goals,
2021,
actions, and
Lithuania sent the
conclusions.
island nation
So, let's start
20,000
with what
dosages of the
SDGs are.
vaccine, despite the global shortage of vaccines.
SDGs are
Likewise,
17
Vietnam is
Sustainable
also a
Development
country
Goals,
that has received
adopted by
medical
all
supplies
United
and
Nations
sources
member states
to
in
serve the
2015.
pandemic,
According to
combat
United
partners,
Nations, they provide
neighbors,
us the
and
shared
international
vision to end
friends such as
poverty.
Laos, Japan, the
And
UK,
all countries
Korea,
developed and
Australia,
developing must
Germany,
be in a global
Cambodia, and
partnership
Saudi
to end
Arabia.
poverty and
This
other
is our joint
deprivations.
efforts and
However,
members
the
of the
pandemic
global
has slowed the
community.
progress, and here is a conversation about how the coronavirus pandemic has changed our life.
Hello everyone.
How have
Today
you
I'll be
been, friends?
introducing
So
on
far,
the
so
topic
good.
that has been of interest since 2019, and that is COVID-19.
We
Two
have
most
taken
important
online lessons
topics
at
of
home
concern
since
during
May.
the pandemic
too
is
bad. How are
definitely
your
the
online
masks
lessons?
and the vaccine.
Well, actually,
So
I don't like
my
online
topic
lessons.
today will be the
e.e.
partnership
Sometimes
behind
I
the
can't get
masks.
what teachers are teaching on the net.
Now
And
talking
some
about
teachers
Taiwan,
act as
before the
self-study the
outbreak of
material on their website.
COVID-19, there was not a lot of
However, I
contact
don't know how
between
to study
Taiwan
without
and
teachers'
Lithuania.
help. You can say that again.
But as you
Besides,
can
the
see in
internet
this
access
lovely
is also a
illustration,
big problem
in
for me.
April
With
2020,
my parents going to
Taiwan
work,
helped
I
Lithuania
can't
fight
have online lessons
COVID-19 with a
because
donation
there
of
is no internet at my
100,000
home.
masks.
As for me,
In return,
I don't have
when
a
it's most
computer,
needed in June
iPad, or cell
2021,
phone, so I
Lithuania
can't
with
have
only
my
1/10
assignments
of
during the
population of
pandemic.
Taiwan
Well,
actually
I'm the
donated
opposite.
20,000
Why do you
doses
say
of
that?
COVID vaccine,
I'm not interested
which
in school
honestly is
studies,
quite
so
impressive
when I
and
like
helps a
days,
lot.
I usually do something else at the same time.
Something else? Like playing online games, right?
Haha, you got me.
You are so mean. Well, Judy, what's the matter? You look a little bit sad. My parents have lost their job because of the pandemic. I'm worried about that. Actually, because of lockdown and some restrictions by the government, the business of our restaurant is really bad.
So my parents started take-out service, and my dad has a part-time job as Uber Eats delivery man.
In Taiwan, you can also see Uber Eats and Foodpanda delivery shuttles through the streets and roads. It really shows.
The pandemic has really caused a disaster all over the world, whatever in education, economy, and health and well-being.
It really has. Many people have died of virus COVID-19, and it has also caused a burden of medical systems in each country.
Besides the effects of physical health, I sometimes feel depressed, stressful, and even anxious all day long at home for many months.
Having online lessons and staring at the screen also make my eyes uncomfortable.
How can we thrive post-pandemic?
Before talking about the real solution, we would like to point out the goal first. In the near future, we would like everything to go back to normal. In the long run, all fields can be boosted, especially education, health, and economy. In order to achieve this, we as students must try our best to contribute to all fields. Firstly, let's talk about education. The first immediate action that we should take is to assess learning loss and close learning gap. For example, students at area schools are having after-school lessons to close all the learning gap to extra support from teachers.
Also, for education, blended learning can be a suitable approach for the future. Basically, blended learning is a combination of online learning and traditional face-to-face classes. When students are familiar with this learning approach, they can be more ready in the future in case there is another disaster like COVID-19. Finally, it's necessary for students to develop a learning routine and self-learning skills to be better prepared for any future online learning. Here are some suggestions for our own experience. Firstly, plan a schedule of balanced activities. Secondly, keep organized notes for future revision. Last but not least, be consistent because it takes 21 days to form a habit.
Now, about economy. Right after a pandemic, it's important to provide urgent support to citizens and businesses to protect their jobs and livelihoods. For example, in Vietnam, our parents received at least 1,500,000 Vietnam dong from the government for the months that were affected by COVID-19. Furthermore, new necessary skills must be developed. According to the State of Skills 2021 report, 60% of employees say that COVID-19 has accelerated their need to acquire new skills, among which digital skills are considered as one of the most important. Talking about this, every school has once supported its teachers and also students' parents through internal trainings about teleworking and how to use different learning sites effectively.
Finally, about health and well-being, health and care services should be fully prepared for any new future waves of COVID-19 and further mass vaccination against new variants. As an individual, we should keep our environment safer by wearing facial masks, avoiding crowded places or close contacts. Most importantly, in order to prevent future disease, you must have a routine care. Here are some of our suggestions. To begin with, let's exercise consistently. According to a study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine suggests people who were inactive had a higher risk of hospitalization, ICU admission, and death after getting COVID-19 than those who were active for at least 150 minutes per week. Secondly, let's have a nutritious eating routine to support the immune systems and reduce chances of getting other health problems. Next, don't forget to maintain hygiene habits like washing hands regularly. Finally, let's be positive and pay attention to emotional health, like try not to stress yourself too much, taking a break often, or seeking help when you need to.
To finish our presentation today, I just want to say that partnership is an important part in any field. During the pandemic, partnership helped a lot. For example, Taiwan has provided more than 16 million medical masks to support medical professionals around the world and has worked with the US and the EU on the most advanced rapid tests and vaccines for COVID-19. I believe in the future, partnership can help a lot more in order to build back together.
COVID-19 has brought fast-moving and expanding impact on almost every aspect of life. What does it take to thrive in a changing world and create opportunity from adversity? Attitude is everything. Take an active attitude toward unpredictable challenge.
We, as a student, should take an active attitude toward our studying, even though during the school suspension. Thus, but not least, it is the spirit of the common good. We're all members of the global village. Each country, each citizen should be morally and socially responsible to make a better world. At last, a song for a wonderful earth.
We are the world. We are the family. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's take actions. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own earth. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. Thank you for listening.
Please check on the Slido for the questions. And you have 2 minutes to choose. 2 minutes later, I will inform you guys to answer the questions.
First of all, thank you for all of your questions. Due to 5 minutes to answering, we just choose 2 questions to answer.
Excuse me. You need to wait.
Oh, sorry.
I will tell you when to start to answer, okay?
Okay.
You can start answering the questions.
Okay. First of all, thank you for all of your questions. Due to 5 minutes for answering, we just choose 2 questions to answer. The first question is, what is your solution? First, about the solution of health and well-being, we think everyone should be fully prepared for any future disease like COVID-19. There are some suggestions everyone can do. First one, routine care for yourself, like regular exercising, nutritious eating for supporting our immune systems and reducing chances of getting other health problems. And next, have a positive mental attitude, like taking a break often and try not to stretch yourself too much or seeking help when you need to. And next, don't forget to maintain hygiene habits, like washing hands regularly, avoiding crowded places, and wearing facial masks. And about the solution of partnership, we think partnership helps a lot in any fields for each country against COVID-19. For example, information sharing. We can learn about the latest variant strains of the virus from other countries sharing and fight the virus together. And another example, this July, Taiwan has provided more than 60 million medical masks to support medical professional help around the world. And then Taiwan and Vietnam have also got the vaccine donations from the US, Japan, and France. The aim of partnership for SDGs is the developed countries to how the developing countries and from the 2003 SARS, Taiwan has gained first-hand experience is combating pandemics. We're ready to share what worked for us and then build a better world together. Thank you. And it's a time for our partner. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your question about economy. We think we must develop necessary skills, especially digital skills, to prepare online learning and working in case of any future pandemic. It's also important to provide urgent support to citizens and businesses to secure their jobs and livelihood against any disasters.
And about education, blended learning is a combination of online classes and traditional face-to-face classes. We students at Everest School are preparing for blended learning at the moment. For example, we are using Microsoft Teams for learning and sending homework. In the future, there may be no more paper homework anymore. Instead, we are using Teams to send homework and the teachers can check and score it online instantly.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation and answering. Thank you. Bye bye.
In 2019, the world was hit with a new strain of coronavirus, a powerful disease that can harm both animals and humans worldwide. In the fight against coronavirus, it has exhausted many nations' resources and left adverse impacts on the economy and lives all over the world. That's when the nations must join hands and make collaborative efforts in the fight against COVID-19. In April 2020, Taiwan helped Lithuania fight COVID-19 with a donation of 100,000 masks. After that, in 2021, Lithuania sent the island nation 20,000 dosages of the vaccine, despite the global shortage of vaccines. Likewise, Vietnam is also a country that has received medical supplies and sources to serve the pandemic combat from partners, neighbors, and international friends such as Laos, Japan, the UK, Korea, Australia, Germany, Cambodia, and Saudi Arabia. This is our joint efforts and members of the global community.
Hello everyone. Today I'll be introducing on the topic that has been of interest since 2019, and that is COVID-19. Two most important topics of concern during the pandemic is definitely the masks and the vaccine. So my topic today will be the partnership behind the masks. Now talking about Taiwan. Before the outbreak of COVID-19, there was not a lot of contact between Taiwan and Lithuania. But as you can see in this lovely illustration, in April 2020, Taiwan helped Lithuania fight COVID-19 with a donation of 100,000 masks. In return, when it's most needed in June 2021, Lithuania with only 1/10 of population of Taiwan actually donated 20,000 doses of COVID vaccine, which honestly is quite impressive and helps a lot.
Also, what about the 4.5 million doses channeled through the COVAX facility, 3 million doses from Japan, 2 million doses from the US, and 0.5 million doses from China, and 1,000 doses from Russia. Vietnam also donated more than 500,000 Vietnamese-made antibacterial face masks to the UK, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, and send medical supplies to China, Laos, and Cambodia, such as the Rocket and the VCR. Next.
So why is the partnership important? Goal 17 is the key to realize the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. There are three aspects: social progress aspect, economic growth aspect, and environmental protection aspect. Economic-wise, we want to make business activities a lot easier. Social-wise, we want to ensure social security and build meaningful, lasting friendships.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, strong international cooperation is needed now more than ever to ensure that countries have the means to recover from the pandemic, build back better, and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Partnership plays a vital role in developing the economy among countries, since it brings together communities, businesses, and individuals to reach the same goals. It forces them to help and support each other to overcome difficulties and respond to crises head-on. Besides, the partnership would help to remedy environmental problems as we live in the same world and breathe in the same air.
As everyone knows, the pandemic really impacts a lot of people. Here are 3 examples to show how the earth actually closed down due to COVID-19. The first one is school closed. The second is the border between countries shut down. Economic recession also happened. This is really unavoidable to a lot of people.
Also, the lockdown causes the economy and stocks to go down, people losing their work when several companies have a lot of debt and have been at risk of being declared bankrupt. The graph here shows that the Chinese economy shrinks for the first time in decades, and its year-on-year GDP has fallen into negative territory. Next. Also, COVID-19 widened the gap between people in rich and poor countries. An example is that the rich countries are planning for the third jab while poor countries don't have enough vaccines. Next.
If you have extra money, can you go back, please? If you have extra money during the pandemic, consider donating to a charity to help people that are suffering. There's a high chance many charities in our community are looking for help dealing with COVID-19, such as food banks and homeless shelters, etc. Richer and more financially stable countries should think about donating to more poorer countries to control starvation, hunger, and homelessness better. Next.
For education, we want to increase students' exchanges between countries, such as between Taiwan and Vietnam or from East Europe. Because we are still in a pandemic, due to restrictions, we would like to facilitate more inter-country communication through virtual methods, such as virtual meeting and presentations through Zoom. The last one, we would like to encourage students to study abroad when all of the restrictions are lifted and everything returns normal, by providing scholarship and financial aid to promote a lot of students study abroad and experience different cultures.
Last but not the least, tourism-wise. We may want to cooperate with other countries to promote tourism and outstanding destinations. To do so, we want to take photos to introduce our local beauty to friends around the world. This is our lovely hometown and our friends' hometown. This is the topic for today. The COVID-19 pandemic has really impacted us since 2019. We are all helping each other and slowly getting through this together. We, as the citizen of the country, can help a lot by doing just little things, such as being careful to stop the spread by wearing masks. Even though it is just a small action, we can still help the whole world in the long run. As long as our partnership works and lasts, there's hope in our life. Thank you for listening.
Okay, now you guys have 2 minutes to check the questions from Slido. 2 minutes later, I will inform you guys to answer the questions. "30 seconds left. You can answer the questions now.
We are going to answer the question, why do you focus on the partnership between Taiwan and Lithuania? So Lithuania is one of the countries that donated vaccines to Taiwan after Taiwan donated medical supplies to them. But the most important reason is Lithuania is really similar to Taiwan. It is not big and it is not rich, but it can help, and so does Taiwan.
I'm going to answer more with the question that why do you focus on the partnership between Taiwan and Lithuania? Because Lithuania is a West side European countries and they really come into contact with us in the East Asia. Besides, they also donated twice. This is very thankful and pleasant surprise for the people in Taiwan.
So next, we are going to invite our partner to answer the question.
I will now answer this question. Can you tell us how to make the opening skit? We got inspired to do it on Zoom because even though some countries may be far away from each other, but we still try our best to help each other with what we can. The making of the video was pretty fun as we all got to work together to make it look as fabulous as possible. However, it was quite hard as we made a few mistakes during the filming, so we had to film it over and over again until we got the perfect video. We had to cut out some printings and use them to pass it out to each other, like how countries helped each other during the pandemic.
So now I'm going to answer the question, how do you plan to coordinate help for COVID patients all around the world, especially in underdeveloped countries? So for this question, we exchanged some medical supplies and we also provide some resource such as doctors and nurses to their hospital. So that is the most actual solution to help them.
I am going to answer the question. Why do you think your plan will help Taiwan and other countries develop a more stable economic? For this question, like our presentation, we say that Taiwan donated Lithuania masks and Lithuania donated vaccines to Taiwan. And after the pandemic, we have the friendly relation. And after the pandemic, we can exchange goods or something to each other.
So now I'm going to answer the question why you encourage students study abroad and which SDGs combined with. So encourage students study abroad is because we want to let our students to experience more different cultures, like some Vietnam's cultures. So we use Zoom to presentation, and we can learn each other's cultures.
I'm going to answer the question, who provided you resources? There are many charities in every city in Taiwan donated vaccine or masks to other country or our government or the poor people in Taiwan.
Do you want to answer more questions, partners?
So I'm going to answer the question. Why do you think your plan will help Taiwan and other countries?
Time's up. Time's up. Thank you for your presentation and answering. Thank you.